Okay, so let's go ahead and get this video of Unreal Engine started there, everybody. Welcome to a new uh, training session. Let me go ahead and invite Blackheart in to speak because he's here as well. Not bad. Close the song down. Let's not do that. Okay. Now that you're here, I can, my headset won't power off on me, so I can close out the music in the background. Okay, so this is the very first session that we're going to be doing, covering the Unreal Engine. Now, you know, you and I, Blackheart, we're unemployed. We're trying to find, jobs in the market. But I mean, we still have our own, dreams that we have, you know, um, of making products, and one of those products could also be gaming. Um, so one of the idea that I was having was maybe we can try to join forces on creating something together. Now, what that's going to be, who knows? Are we going to continue on, or am I going to take what I did with Unity's, well, what I tried to do with Unity with the game GGG and put it into Unreal? Don't know. We'll discuss that, or shall we make a different game again? There's a lot of things that we're going to have to discuss prior for us actually starting up a new project. So, um, but that's something that we'll need to discuss and figure out, you know, um, what our first steps are going to be. But for right now, we're going to need to figure out, what we can actually do with Unreal. Now, um, Blackheart and myself, we both don't know Unreal. That's correct?
No.
Yeah.
No, I've never touched Unreal Engine.
Yeah. Neither have I.
And we
Um,
are working with Unreal Engine 4 mainly because my hardware can't handle 5.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. It should still be perfectly fine for us to for us to work on it. Now, obviously, we're probably not going to be getting some of the, you know, most, the up to date, features of 5, but that's okay. We can still, we're learning. Um, we're learning Unreal for the first time. We're learning all the processes, how to actually build something, from scratch, with Unity or with Unreal.
With using
Um,
the Unreal tools in general.
right. Which we can then transfer onto Unreal 5 when we get to that point. Okay. If,
Yep.
once, you know, we get to a point where, hey, we can upgrade Blackheart's hardware to be fantastic, you know, whenever that day may be.
Yeah,
You know,
considering the prices of hardware here, the
well, we'll
okay,
worry.
if you guys think it's expensive for you guys, hardware is worth a fortune for us.
Yeah, but like I said, you know, we'll continue working towards that goal. Okay, so,
Yeah.
um, but for the time being, we can at least work on trying to create something that could benefit both of us. Okay.
Yep.
Um, Now, I've never done anything with Unreal myself. The reasoning behind that is, I'm not an artist at all. I'm a programmer. I draw stick figures. So, um,
Don't worry,
you know,
I'm in the same boat there.
yeah. So, considering to draw anything in 3D would be quite out of my wheelhouse. Um, so not to say that it's not impossible. I'm just saying that it would take a lot. Um, so it was never something that I personally was looking at and going, oh yeah, I can do this, no problem. No, you know, um, I my focus has been mainly keep it 2D because at least with 2D I can just create simple sprites and do very simple animations there, and everything should be fine. With Unreal, well, I might be throwing all of that out the window. I don't really know, you know. Um, from what I understand, and I'm I'm
The
ass-
benefit of Unreal 4, it does have a 2D template,
yeah,
and
but
not just side scroll, like full on 2D template.
yeah, and we'll see how good that is.
Yeah, I
If
believe on the Unreal Engine 5 they actually removed that 2D template.
yeah,
They discarded.
there,
They kept it up to 4, and that was it.
yeah. And you know, who knows? Yeah, I've heard that some people have added that back in, or you know, did like their own
They found ways to work
proprietary.
around it, but there is a demand to bring that back. It will
Yeah,
be just a matter of time for Unreal to decide, okay, no, people want it, let's put it back in.
yeah. I mean, they have, and there has been some development in 2D games using a lot of the features in Unreal to, you know, spice up the games. Okay, so I'm not saying that
Yep.
that's not impossible. Um, but for us two, for Blackheart and myself, you know, trying to create those exact games that are out there right now by those development studios are probably not exactly obtainable like right now, right at this particular second. Obviously, we don't know about Unreal, so we're gonna learn
Yep.
that. Are we gonna get to that point? Maybe, maybe even better. Who knows? You know, we'll see. Um, but figured I'd kind of give a little rundown as to where we stand in Unreal and the like. Now, um, first thing that first thing that I want to go over with you is you have the Unreal Engine 4.27.2, right?
I downloaded the last version of Unreal Engine 4.
Okay. Do you have the Epic Games launcher up at all?
Uh, Let me open it real quick.
I want to make sure that our engines are the same because if they're
It
off
is
by
4.27.2.
okay. Yeah, I downloaded the last version of the 4 version, which was 27.2.
Yeah,
So I just wanted to make
that was the
sure.
last one.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we had the same engine. Okay, otherwise we'd have some. We could potentially have some issues in terms of handling like tutorials and the like or coding up things. Now, um, right now, this is just going to be a project between Blackheart and myself. Could there potentially be more programmers, artists, writers involved in this project? Who knows? Maybe. I'm not going to say no, but at the same time, I don't necessarily want someone to come in and write up all the code and say, okay, you guys are done. You know, I want us to learn as well. Okay.
Mm.
Not to say that someone that has a lot of experience can't necessarily join our team. I don't necessarily want them taking over because that wouldn't help us out. Okay.
No.
we wouldn't necessarily learn what Unreal Engine could do, how to go about doing it, if someone comes in and writes all the code for us. Okay. Um, so I'm not going to want to. I personally would not want to see that happen. Blackheart, you're agreeing with me right there. So
Yes, I am.
so um, I want this to be a collaborative session. So if
Yeah.
someone was to kind of join us, then I have no problem on giving them parts of the code for them to kind of work, and maybe they'll get it done in a snap while Blackheart and I struggle. That's perfectly fine. It's understandable, but I don't necessarily want them coming into like my code and going, okay, here's the code that you need to do, and there you go, you're done. It's like that wouldn't help me. So, um, I actually had that happen once in college. It was a group project, just me and another guy, and I was like, hey, partner, 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 we need to get together and write this up. We need to get together and write this up. And then the night before, I suddenly get an email saying, oh, yeah, I finished it already. It's like, and it was it was written really bad. Like it worked the way it needed to work, but it wasn't good enough to continue. I couldn't really read it. It was unreadable to me, but yeah, I don't want to have that happen to
Yeah.
either one of us. So, um, I was looking at the um, what they had in terms of like their resources and the like. So, um, here, let me send you a link there, Blackheart. So, one second. So you're kind of on the same page that I'm on. So I sent you a link for the samples and tutorials for 4.27 on the docs.unrealengine.com. So just so if anybody wants to kind of follow along, that's the link that I just sent to Blackheart concerning. Um, so in this particular document, this browser, there's the samples and tutorials, links to various example scenes, sample games, and tutorials for Unreal Engine 2. Or 4.27 documentation. So, to help you more quickly understand the various ways you can use Unreal Engine 4 and the assets that can be created with it, we have assembled a collection of learning resources for you to download, play with, and deconstruct. So templates are starting off points, giving you a few key classes and a level to begin your game. That is another link altogether. Let me see. Um, okay, so this is kind of showing like different templates here. Um, and this might actually be something that we might want to kind of go over anyway, there, Blackheart.
Yeah.
Just to start off with. I mean, as we go on down, there's presentation books and guides, um, which, I mean, we could probably go over that later, but you know, um, now one of the things that they say on the samples and tutorials page, not on the templates page, but you know, um, There's a learning resource projects. Learning resource projects are all available through the Learn tab of the Epic Games launcher. And I was kind of trying to look around for that a little bit before we kind of started, but I do not see a Learn tab anywhere in the Epic Games launcher. Do you see one yourself at all?
Mm, not that I can find one. Let me see.
I mean,
In here.
I see, when I click on the Unreal Engine, I see news, I see samples, I see marketplace, I see library, and I see Twin Motion, whatever that is. I'm not going to install that, whatever that is, so I'll leave that alone for now. So I don't see a Learn tab at all.
No.
Um,
No, I know there's one on the website.
on the website for Epic Games or the website of
On the
for
website of Unreal.
okay. Could you provide a link to me on that one?
Let me just switch the overlay a little bit so I don't show Discord.
Yeah, you might need to switch. You're probably going to be switching off a lot, or try to.
Yeah,
Uh,
this is where I wish I had a second monitor.
Believe me, I feel you on that one.
I just sent you a link of the Learn tab open, pretty much.
Yeah. What I did there, Blackheart, is make sure that when you're live, just use the window function for just the Unreal Engine, and just leave it at that. Don't display anything else. Matter of fact, let me check out your. I mean, you're streaming right now,
Mm,
so let me.
yeah, like I left it for screen capture so that I could show the Learn site as well.
I'd be careful with that because obviously, if you're showing too much, then um, I mean, as long as we're like discussing like where we're at and what we're doing, that should be fine. Um, I would just say like leave it on the Unreal Engine, like select or create a new project. If you're like looking at my stream right now, that I just have um, the Unreal Project browser window open right at this moment in time, and my face cam, and that's it. So that's what I would kind of recommend, I would imagine. And then, of course, everybody on your stream or your audience won't necessarily see browsers that way. So
Well, let me try. I do have a backup already set for that.
yeah,
I just hope that the size is actually decent.
that's probably going to be a little bit of a problem, I'm sure. But
Well, that's what I got on the one I had preset already.
mm,
That one's only capturing the engine itself. It's not capturing anything else.
okay, it looks like looks fine for the most part.
I
So
wanted to use that so that my head doesn't cover anything.
yeah, yeah, understandable. I mean, you have your overlay, and that's perfectly reasonable. So
Yeah, I did take my intermission overlay and moved my head from its normal position and put the uh window capture on that.
yeah,
Sizing is always a pain in the butt though.
yeah. Okay. The only concern that I have about this one is that it's showing features for, it's giving projects for 5 at this moment in time on the learn page. So for anybody
Yeah.
that's kind of curious, we're currently at unrealengine.com US/learn for um, for the Unreal, and obviously, with them creating Unreal Engine 5, they're obviously going to be doing a lot with that, right? So, um, so I can see here, sample projects. They're already, talking about, Unreal Engine 5, Unreal Engine 5, Unreal Engine 5. So that's not.
Yeah.
I mean, we could still try to build those in Unreal Engine 4, but they might actually be saying like, hey, here's some features that are specific to Unreal Engine 5, and um, we're not going to be seeing that in an Unreal Engine 4, so we're not going to be able to get those kind of details. So, um,
Yeah, I'm trying to go around the site and see if I can find any of its older tutorials.
um,
Like some of them have a sort of like an archive of the, but I don't know if Unreal has an archive of the old setup.
okay, well, what you can do is go to um, on that one page of Learn, okay, there is a link for visit documentation. And that's what I typically go for anything concerning like tutorials or whatnot. So I would recommend going to documentation. Under the documentation page, it automatically puts you under the Unreal Engine 5.3 documentation, which obviously we don't really want right at this moment in time. So there is a drop down on there at the very top that should give you a window that can drop down, and you should see Unreal Engine 4.27 documentation. Do you see that?
Yes, I do find it.
Okay. Then,
Let's see, does it have the... Okay, it's news, understanding the basics, working with content, building virtual worlds, designing visual rendering and graphics, programming and scripting,
yeah, so one,
making interactive experience. That's all that's inside there. There's a few more tabs as well.
yeah, okay.
Sample and tutorials.
So the sample and tutorials that I linked to you, my friend, um, is part of the overall documentation. So what we should probably go through is instead of going straight into the samples and tutorials, maybe we should start off with going to like the what's new and just kind of discussing that. Sound like a plan? And then we can like maybe move on to understanding the basics. Like,
Yeah, I guess we can do this in order, like
yeah,
in some way.
just kind of go left to right and down as we go along, and we'll kind of discuss this. Is that a plan? Sound like a plan to you? I mean,
Yeah, it
it
sounds like a plan.
it'll take longer, obviously, but I mean, we don't necessarily want to skip any details because if we skip,
Yeah, and we don't know Unreal in general.
yeah,
We
I
never
mean,
touched it, so
yeah, if we skip details, then we're gonna be shooting ourselves in the foot. We might be like going,
yeah.
"How do we use this particular program?" Well, that was actually under rendering or something like that, and
Yeah,
we
probably.
and we skipped it for some unknown stupid reason. Let's not do that. So.
Yeah, same goes for the programming. My knowledge of C++ is so superficial, it's pretty much useless.
Understandable. Understandable. Well, I'll see what I can do to try to help you out with that. What's your well, you said that your main language is C sharp, right?
It's C sharp and Java.
Okay.
Beyond that, I know a little bit of JavaScript and Kotlin.
Right. Okay. So, um, now I haven't personally used C sharp myself. Okay, but obviously C++ is a different um, well,
Yeah, and quite
obviously
rusty with
C++
C sharp
is different
anyways.
than
It's been a
Java, so
while.
Um, but the memory management is what's going to be probably something that you're probably not going to be that familiar with, and you. Well, let me tell you right now, okay? Because it's happened to me. I've made mistakes in memory management when it comes to C and C++. You're probably also going to be making mistakes when it comes to memory management in C and C++. So be prepared for that, and don't be, you know, uh, no, it's a common mistake. Okay, the fact that we have a term called memory leak just for that reason, you know, because it's so well known and so well, it happens so often. Um, so, um, let me, uh, actually, oh my gosh. So when I click under what's new, it opens up a brand new window altogether. You know what? Let me switch this over to my um, let me switch this over to my Chrome browser at the very least, and then I can maybe display that one. So let's see. Let's
It's
see.
mostly showing the features that were added when 4.27 was released.
Yeah. Let me create something here real quick. Um, oh wait, no, that's not what I want. That's only going to show one particular part of the browser, and that's not going to really work for me here. Guess we'll do window capture. Okay, and I'll put that right down there. Make that stretch the screen. Okay, and then I will go ahead and do a quick transition. There we go. Studio mode, gotta love it. Okay, so I can go ahead and close out the Pega because that's done. Okay, so the what's new, learn about the new features that are included in each release, as well as some of the cutting edge features that begin introduced in beta or experimental states. You have the release notes, the beta features, and our experimental features. So it's like, okay. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, this is kind of just um, um, this might be kind of outside of our wheelhouse a little bit because it might be like showing um, uh, like additions that we're not really familiar with.
You know, I'd say we first have to understand with the basics. It's like this
Yeah,
is mostly showing, okay, we added this, this, and this for those who have been using the engine before.
yeah. Which I mean, it makes sense, obviously, but for Blackheart and myself, we're gonna be like looking at this and going, okay, sure, you added that. What exactly does it do? We have no idea.
Nope.
So, it probably we're probably going to need to kind of switch on to just understanding the basics. What do you say?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay, so we're gonna get off the what's new part of the documentation. We'll go ahead and go on to the understanding the basics. So there's getting started with UA4, installing the Unreal Engine that we've already done, so we don't need to worry about that. Finding help and answers, we probably don't really need that because,
Nope.
you know, uh, we already know where to look. Unreal Engine for Unity developers. Well, I mean, that's all well and good, but I'm not like an official Unity developer at all. I don't claim to be, so this probably really
Yeah.
wouldn't help us out very much either.
No, and I haven't touched Unity in a long time, and much less now after what they did.
Man. Um, so, I mean, we could do the Unreal Engine for terminology. We could kind of start with that. Um,
Let's see.
well, I'm going to click on the getting started with UE4 and see what that's all about. Choose your operating system, Windows, Mac OS. Well, definitely Windows. Okay, so there's different. Ooh, there's actually the Unreal Engine for terminology on this page as well. Okay. Um, okay. I'm thinking let's start with the level designer quick start, and we can go from there.
Yeah.
Okay. So installing the Unreal Engine, we already did that. So um, um, oh, prerequisite topics. Okay. Create a new project and all that. Okay. Um, so in the project browser, you can create new projects based off several different template types or open any previously created projects or samples that you have downloaded. Let's create a new project. Yay. Project browser appears under new project category. Select a development category for this quick start. Let's create a project from the games category. So, um, so games. Next. In the second page of the project browser, select a blank template and then click next. Okay. So next on that. Okay. On the final page of the project browser, select the blueprint and with starter content settings, enter folder location and name for your project and click create project. Okay, might need to be a little careful with the folder name or folder location, my friend. So might need to put that in a like a browser webcam only, just in case. Um,
Yeah, just for now.
yeah, they don't necessarily need to know your folder structure. So, although I was already showing it. Oh well. Oh, okay. Something for me to delete later, I guess, if I can remember it. Let's see. Select blueprint with starter content settings. Blueprint with starter content settings. Select a folder location. Um, I want this to kind of go under my. Let's see. Hmm, to go under that. And
Good.
then, what's the name of this again? Level Designer Quick Start. I'm going to name it that. Level Designer Quick start. Oh, okay. Level designer quick. Apparently I can't have a name longer than that. Okay, and then we click create project. Oh boy, it just went full screen on me. Okay, let's do that. Um, Now let me see. Studio mode. Are you showing? Yeah, you are showing it. Okay, I was about to say, are you going to be showing the engine right now? And it is. So we'll go ahead and do the transition. Get out of studio mode. There we go. And there's the Unreal Engine 4. Now it says, welcome to Unreal Engine 4. Click the graduate cap icon for the tour of the tools, which I don't know if we really want to do that, but we apparently finished the step for required setup. So navigating the viewport. With the project open, ready to go, the first thing you may notice is the viewport in the center of the Unreal editor. Um, so I'm assuming that you're already there, right?
Yeah, just working on the capture to get it to work.
Okay. Um, Let me know when you're ready, or when you're there.
Yeah, just give me a sec.
No worries. I want us to kind of be working together on this, so I don't want to go too far ahead on this. And obviously, we don't have a lot of time left on this, which is perfectly fine. This is going to be a daily thing, so
Yeah.
we're not going to be like doing like major coding sessions, 8-hour sessions, or anything along those lines right at this moment in time. Maybe someday in the future, maybe, but for right now, we're just we're just kind of learning this. So small little sessions like this should be fine to start off with. Maybe someday, Blackheart and I will do a full like 8-hour or full day coding session or something like that. Especially if everybody wants to watch that. Um, but
What is it trying to capture? Come on. Where the hell is that message?
so I used a
Yeah.
window source or window capture for the for Unreal, just to give you an indicator as to where what I used.
Yeah,
Um,
no, there was just a little pop-up that it decided to capture the pop-up and not the entire window.
hmm.
Okay, there, I got it running for now. There we go.
Okay.
So they capture a tiny pop-up or right down in the corner.
Oh, okay. That's unfortunate. Okay. Um, so so what we're looking at is the viewport in the center. That's where you're seeing the two chairs and the table.
Yep.
Um, Inside the viewport is where you will do most of your level construction. Makes sense. The template project is what we selected in the previous step, includes a small sample level and some assets for us to get started with. Using this little area as a point of reference, take a moment to get used to the viewpoint camera controls by using the most common methods of navigating the viewport in Unreal Engine 4. So standard controls. These controls represent the default behavior when clicking and dragging and viewports with no other keys or buttons pressed. These are also the only controls that can be used to navigate the orthographic viewports. um, con controls perspective, and then action. Left mouse button and drag moves the camera forward and backward and rotates left and right. So left click and drag forward, backward, left, right. So uh, right click and drag rotates the viewport camera. So I'm assuming, yeah, I'm capturing this right at this moment in time. So doing a right click will change the direction where the camera is looking. So there's that. Um, and then left plus the right plus drag moves up and down. So we have both of them selected, and we move in, we go up, we move back, we move down. So that's kind of how you're kind of moving around the viewport. So um, now this is perspective, and now we have orthographic. I'm not quite sure what they mean by um, because when they're saying perspective, we just did that with the left, right, and double. But now it's saying orthographic with the same kind of controls. So um,
Well, the double one can also be the middle mouse button. It does exactly the same thing. Then using both clicks at the same time.
oh, the middle mouse button can do the well, that's from the middle mouse button for me, or scrolling does the kind of like the left click
Yeah.
forward and
Scrolling
backward,
does the zoom for me. Yeah.
but
Scrolling zooms in and out.
but
Just
hold
clicking and holding it down, you can move it around like if you were doing the clicking left and right at the same time.
yeah. Personally, I like the left and right click. I don't really like pushing down on the middle button myself, but that's me. um, okay, so orthographic top, front, and side. So um, okay. So at the very top of the window, the perspective window, there's a little button called perspective next to
Yes.
lid and show. When I click on that, I see the orthographic. I see top, bottom, left, right, front, and back. So that's probably what it's referring to for the top, front, and side and the quick start. Um, I'm assuming side is probably what they're using for like the left and right. Um, but the front and back are not. Well, actually, they say top, front, and side. So I'm gonna assume that um, you know, top is this probably the same as bottom. Um, front is the same as back, and side is just basically, hey, you want left or right. So so if you want the top-down view, which is really, really funky. I, I switched over to the top-down view, and left creates a marquee selection box. Oh, it's a left click and drag. Gotcha. Okay. Right click and drag pans the viewport camera. So, gotcha. Okay, so you can just kind of drag around your perspective about that. Gotcha. I see. And then the middle mouse button or the left and right click zooms the viewport camera in and out. So that's out, that's in, so on and so forth. Okay. So, that's interesting. Focusing. F focuses the camera on the selected object. This is essential to make the most out of tumbling the camera. So if you say select one of the objects out of the two and you push F, then it focuses on that particular object somehow. Although,
It suits me all the way out when they do that.
yeah, I'm not sure. Not quite sure what happened there, but the like I'm trying to move back in. Oop, 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 oop. Stop that. Yeah, it zoomed me super far out when I hit the F. What the heck?
Yep. Why did it do that?
Focus the camera on the selected object. This is essential for making the most out of tumbling the camera. To switch to an orthographic view, click the perspective drop down and select the orthographic view mode. Yeah, that's fine. That tip should have actually been on the very top there, but whatever. Um, yeah, not sure why it moved us all the way
Oh, I
out
figured
like
it
that.
out. I figured it out.
What's that?
Look on the upper right corner in the world outliner and select the objects you want to focus on, and then hit F again.
What do you mean the objects that I want to focus on?
Because right now it's focused on it's selected the what's it called again? I moved this. I can't remember what it was called. The sphere reflection capture. It was. I think that was it, or the skylight. That one of those two was the one selected. I went down to the static meshes and selected something else, like the table. I hit F, and now I'm zoomed back where the table's at. Like that's the hierarchy right there. What
Ah, okay.
you
So
do.
yeah, okay. So in the world outlier on the window or the um in the upper
That
right
would be
hand
Unity's hierarchy, pretty much.
yeah,
Its equivalent.
yeah, in the upper right hand corner, there's a tab called World Outlier, and well, originally it was focused on everything. It had highlights on, the skylight, the table, the sphere, the sky sphere, everything.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to focus on, say, like the floor, then we want to hit F on, and there's the floor. So we want to focus on the statue, we hit F, and we're on the statue now. Although there's these things that seem to be kind of blocking our view a little bit, so that's a little odd, but whatever. Um, if we change our perspective back to um, back to perspective, then we can kind of see, um, like, when I selected the statue, it's now on the statue itself. I select the table and hit F, then it focuses on the. If I do the skylight and hit F, then it actually didn't push me that high up in the air. Okay,
Its
weird.
skylight's not that far out.
According to, and from the perspective,
Yeah. What it
at
was
least.
originally selected was BP Sky Sphere. That's the one that zooms us all the way out.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, there it is. So, okay. Um, so now we have a little bit of a way to kind of allow for us to kind of move around a little bit.
Yeah. And we know where the hierarchy is and what it's called.
Yeah, for the most part. Okay, so we have the WSD flight controls. All of these controls are only valid in the perspective viewport. And by default, you must hold the right mouse button to use the WASD game style controls. So, so you're holding the right mouse button, and now you can kind of like fly around a little bit. So, um, although you know, trying to get the right
Detect
kind of
assets.
getting the right kind of angle might be a little off, but it might give you, if you're holding the right key, then you can just kind of fly around the map a little bit. So, you can fly under, you can fly over. So, okay, not too shabby. Um, obviously you could probably use that for, getting a view of what you need to do with it, but for the most part, it'd probably be faster for us to kind of just click on the world outlier and
And
kind of be
focus.
and focus on that particular object or something. It depends.
Yeah.
So, um, okay, so um we're probably going to be getting through navigating the viewport, and that's probably about it. So we're probably not going to be able to get to create a new level at this time. So
Not yet.
we'll have to hold off on that for tomorrow. But
Yeah.
um, so I'll make a note of that for later. That we are going through the quick start, and we are um, about to start step 3, which is create a new level. Okay, so we'll leave that for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Um, Overall, I mean it's not bad. It's not like it's downright terrible, or like we're obviously we're looking at the 3D equivalent of what we need to do and stuff like that, and it's
Yeah.
um from my perspective, it's very smooth in its movement and stuff like that, but that doesn't necessarily translate into, hey, it's going to be functioning perfectly fine with everything that we could potentially throw at it. Um, so we'll see. We'll see. Now, obviously, Unreal Engine has a lot of people that have created like multiple games on it and so on and so forth. Will it be able to, it should be able to handle, you know, whatever our minds, Blackhearted minds wants to do with it.
Yeah.
But you never know. We may we may go like, hey, let's throw like millions of assets into our game all at the same time, and Unreal Engine's going, are you kidding me? you know, who knows? Who knows? Obviously,
Well,
we
I mean, just look at Karamari Damacy and what they did with millions of assets into whatever engine it was they used.
sure, sure. Um, but the uh, just trying to build a game, we have to, you know, depending on what we want to make, we're obviously gonna need to be careful with um, everything that we're gonna be like trying to put into it. So, or at least make sure that what we're making at that particular moment in time isn't going to be like, you know, crashing someone's computer later. So,
In
um,
Unreal Engine 4, I probably wouldn't worry too much. As long as we understand the biggest issue of Unreal, the frame rate limits.
yeah. Um, well, I'm just saying, if we want to try to get as much of an audience as we can, like, we haven't even gotten to what we want to make yet, right? Do we
Yep.
want to make a mobile game? Do we want to make a web game? Do we want to make a Steam game? Or just a standard computer game? Do we want to make all of the above? Who knows? We're not there yet. So,
Yep.
but if we're going to be making, say, like a mobile game, then we don't necessarily want to be making a game that has millions of assets, because a phone would basically explode in your hand if it tried to handle a game like that, right? Um, so let's not do that. Um,
Yeah.
but we have to design the uh, the game for the platform that we're aiming for. Okay. So, and obviously we don't have the licenses for any of the consoles, so we're not going to do that.
No.
Um,
Yeah, we'll start small,
yeah,
something simple that I don't know. We could put up on play.itch.io for get some proper feedback.
or something, whatever. Um, like, like for right now, we're just going to be working on the tutorials, getting ourselves knowledgeable about that.
Yep.
Um, once,
Understanding the engine, how it works.
yeah, and then we'll start working on.
Making something.
Well, we got to be careful of not creating something too early. Okay, we need to kind
I
of
know.
structure out something
Experiment with it.
something first. Let's structure something out. Let's figure out what we kind of need to do, what we're gonna need to kind of go for, and that's if we want to use Unreal Engine at the end. If Unreal Engine isn't doing what we're probably gonna want it to do, then we may need to switch over to something else.
Yeah.
So
In the case that you do think about Godot, that engine only works for PC. It has no console or mobile capacity.
all right, yeah, I know. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So,
Yep.
but that's going to be it for this Unreal Engine session. We're going to go ahead and stop it there.
Yep.
I'm going to stop it there, Blackheart. So I'm staying on time, so you can get the heck out of here and go eat.
Yeah.
And
That's why I'm only doing it like 1 hour long. It's around this time that I make something to eat before streaming because I don't like eating on stream.
exactly, no
It's
worries.
kind of uncomfortable for me.
No worries on that. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and call it at this point. I need to uh, switch out myself. Um, call it a day. So check out our channels. Check out our descriptions. You know, I'm gonna be making a playlist for this particular series. I'm assuming Blackheart, you're gonna be doing the same. Maybe. I don't know. Um, but that's where we're going to go ahead and call it. So I want to thank you all for joining. Oop, my stage just ended for some reason. Okay. Um, but that's it. So I want to thank you all for joining us on this particular session. I will catch you all next time. Um, and I will be right back for some uploads. But for this video, we're out of here. Take care, all. See you next time.